variety, Zinfandel. Welcome back to Wine ASMR. Thank you once again, so much for joining us. Thank you for all the support you've been showing to this channel. I really enjoy reading your comments. You're giving me lots of ideas for future videos. So Zinfandel, local variety, found its way to the United States of America in the mid-19th century. It's a dark-skinned grape, usually produces robust red wine. However, in the States, the so-called white Zinfandel has 6 times higher sales than the red Zinfandel. When we're talking about white Zinfandel, we're not mentioning a white wine, we're talking about a rosé wine, such as the one we'll be reviewing today. So, Zinfandel, United States of America, when we're talking about American wine, we should be focusing on one state, and this is California, wine from California. There are many regions in the States that produce wine, such as New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Oregon, Virginia, Washington. However, California is the major player in the United States, and one of the major players, a huge player in the wine industry worldwide. So California has approximately around 4,500 wineries, whereas the second largest region in the States would be Washington with 800 wineries. So there's a huge difference. Also, there's a huge difference in quality of the wine. So, wine from California, we're talking about up north California, Napa Valley, Sonoma. I was actually in Napa and Sonoma last summer of 2019. Me and my wife landed in San Francisco, and we spent a couple of days there, and then one hour drive to Napa Valley, where we stayed the night. Visited some wineries. We also headed to Sonoma for another night, and I wish we would stay more, but we were on our honeymoon, so we continued our trip to California. We wanted to see as much as possible and headed down to Carmel, Los Angeles, and then to Vegas. But I really wish we would stay more, and I'm hoping to go back soon to Napa Valley and Sonoma. So Napa produces Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. These are varieties, great varieties. When it comes to white wine, and for red wine, they produce Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Shiraz, or Shiraz as many of you call it, and of course the local variety, Zinfandel. Great small town, quiet town. There's a lot to do. There are 2 Michelin star restaurants in Napa Valley, the restaurant at Meadowwood and the French Laundry. Great food. There's so much to do. You just find a nice bed and breakfast, relax, drink wine. Perfect holiday for me. On the other side, Sonoma is quite laid back, less commercialized, and less expensive. It's still quite expensive, but less expensive than Napa Valley. However, both are extraordinary, excellent choices. So I highly recommend you travel to California and visit amazing wineries. And if you're from the States, you should definitely do this. Now, Zinfandel is also known as Primitivo. So another name for this variety would be Primitivo. Characteristics of Zinfandel: it can either be dry when it's mainly for red wine, but also be semi-sweet or even sweet. So in the white wine, which is the rosé, actually, I have no idea why they call it white wine. Same as for today's wine review, we have a bottle bottle from Beringer winery, vintage of 2019, 100% Zinfandel. Before we get into the bottle, some characteristics of this wine variety would be mainly fruity flavors and aromas, so summer fruit, peach, strawberries, raspberries, watermelon. It's easy to drink. The white wines usually come in a low percent alcoholic volume, so approximately 10%, which is low for wine. What else? Let's just see the bottle. So, Beringer, California, Zinfandel Rosé, characterized by delicious ripe red fruit like raspberry, cherry, and strawberries, refreshing acidity and balanced sweetness. The last factor that mentions balanced sweetness is what I want to find out today, because in this rosé, or this white wine, as they call it for the Zinfandel, to balance the acidity with the sweetness, it's kind of a challenge. So I want to see if they can accomplish this, which they probably do, since they mentioned it in the bottle. So what else? Beringer, very well-known winery, is established in 1876. What else? Talks a little bit about Beringer on the back. Okay, so let's crack it open. Kind of ironic that it's once again a screw-on cap. In my first videos I mentioned that I'm not a fan and I prefer a cork than a screw-on cap, but I think most of my videos have turned out to review wine that have screw-on caps. Anyway, let's see what we got here. So, interesting bottle, nice design. For me, United States of America have completely changed the game in the wine business. Let's see. Okay, just place this here. So, would you care for a glass? Of course you would. Just a little bit. Very interesting color. Not your typical rosé. It's a little darker than I like the rosé to be. So for me, the optimum color for rosé is a light salmon, such as the Whispering Angel, the French wine that we reviewed. It's a bit darker, but still kind of light. Orange, salmon, peach, pale, rosé color. Kind of watery as well. I don't know if you can see the color. Let's see, so we expect from our knowledge of Zinfandel and from the label that we have read, we expect in fruity flavors. Okay, so full fruity flavors. Let's see. The aromas of, wow, this is very interesting. This, wow. I wasn't expecting something, so it seems like a very good quality wine. And I didn't expect this because it's not on it's on the cheap side. For wine, it's actually approximately around 10 US dollars. Okay. Nose, fruit, obviously, strawberries. The first thing I'm getting is strawberries. A little bit of cherry, raspberry. So, a lot of fruit and also hints of citrus in the back. So make him dance a little bit and let's allow the aromas and the flavors to evolve, and let's just give him a quick swirl. sweetness hits you straight away. So even though this is a semi-sweet, or it's actually promoted as a dry wine, it's much sweeter than our usual rosé wine, and you can discover that straight away. So usually when you drink a sweet wine, it's for a dessert wine. So you would have a sweet wine after your dinner, and usually rosé wine. However, this is quite interesting. I'll tell you why. So it's not a dessert wine. It's not a dry wine. It's not a sweet. It's a semi-sweet, and I'll tell you why it's interesting when we pair this with food. Just give me a second. Semi-sweet, obviously. There is a balanced acidity, it's true. However, I would place the acidity a little bit over the balance point, so a little bit higher, because it is a bit mouth-watering. So I'm a little bit confused because this is not what I expected. It's very good quality for its price. So at $10, it's extremely good quality. If I would do a blind taste, I would think this one would be not even $20. It would be about $30 or even $40. So I'm very surprised, and I don't know why Beringer has actually priced it so low. So again, I'm confused with the sweetness, because in the beginning you take your first sip, the sweetness hits you, but then it kind of dries out and the acidity is really introduced in the wine. It's easy to drink, very fruity, only fruity. I don't discover anything else. A little bit of citrus in the back, but that's it. No spices, nothing. So white Zinfandel and red Zinfandel. This is white Zinfandel once again. They're completely different. And you might ask, what determines? Well, actually, I'm going to ask you, what do you think determines the color of a wine? Take a moment, think about it, give me your answer. I'll just take a sip. You're wrong. No, that's not it. So actually, white wine is produced from grapes, not only from white skin grapes, but also from red skin grapes without the skin. Get this, okay? Red wine would be from red skin grapes, obviously, and rosé is from red skin grapes, but they extract the skin earlier, so it gains a little bit of color, but it doesn't become a red wine. So for rosé, the skin is left in for about 20 minutes. I don't really remember for the red wine. I think it is a couple of hours. For the white wine, we have no skin. Okay, that's why they say that red wine is much more healthier. It's a good healthy drink for the heart because of the skin. Okay, because all the vitamins and all the resveratrol and everything that is found in the wine is derived from the skin. And in each fruit that you consume, the skin is which has the most vitamins. So anyway, fun fact, back to our wine. So white Zinfandel is very different than red Zinfandel. Red is a little bit more sophisticated. White Zinfandel should be served at a lower temperature than you usually serve white wine. And the reason for this is for its sweetness to not become very glowing. Okay, so ideally you would cool this down. Well, place it in a cooler or in a fridge for approximately around 60 minutes to 90 minutes, so 1 hour, 1.5 hours before serving. Okay, cool it down. Very different wine, semi-sweet, alcohol content 10%, I think. Let's see. 9.5% alcohol content. You can see on the back of the bottle. So very different wine. Okay. What else? Pairing. Now here is where it gets very interesting, because usually our rosé wine can be consumed at the beginning of a dinner, along with a salad, or even on its own. Or if it's a dessert wine, you drink it at the end of a dinner. But this specific wine, for me, is very different, very interesting, because you can serve it on your main course. So I would pair this, and I wouldn't do this for any other rosé. I've never come across something like this. I would pair this with beef, try it out with lamb, maybe salad, okay? Goat cheese, definitely. And you know, this has took me by surprise. I'm definitely gonna go out and search for more wines from this producer from Beringer, because he's done an excellent job here. And I want to discover his other wine varieties. So let's rate this wine. 88 points. Good for a rosé. Definitely try this out. Not in the beginning. If you're starting to get into wine, do not start here, because this will confuse you. It confused me. So later on, try out this wine. Very interesting once again. And you know, I've really been enjoying your comments and your suggestions for future videos, and I will do. I'm planning to do different stuff on the channel. You've also asked me to do a Q&A, learn a little bit more about me, and I want to do it, but I think the channel is fairly new. I'll definitely do it in the future, I promise. I'm looking forward to it. But the channel is fairly new, and it's not the right time at the moment. What else can we say? So I'm going to end the video. Cheers. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying life once again. Drinking lots of wine. Always responsibly. Definitely check out Sonoma and Napa Valley, especially if you're close, because I know that most of my viewers are from the States. And enjoy.